Here we are. I got this question from a subscriber of mine. He says, Roy, I was wondering if you could give any advice on how to structure and itemize a new service offer to present it to a prospect without case studies or testimonials. Thanks, Simon. Great question. And this is something that a lot of people, when they're launching their service business, when they're launching their client business, they face this challenge. Like, I don't have a bunch of case studies. I don't have a bunch of success stories. I don't have a bunch of testimonials. What do I do to actually position my offer to make sure that my prospective clients, the people who are going to give me money, are going to be excited to work with me? And this is actually something I've done a lot of training on for copywriters. I did the copywriter's roadmap to building a core offer. And then I actually expanded the whole idea beyond that in the client getting blueprint in my milestone 1 training of that. I went deep on how to build an offer that really maps to your prospects, problem, and solution. And I also did a Launch Your Client Business mini course, and all of that, so much training that I've put into that. And of course, doing a quick video here, I'm not able to go into all of it, but I can give you 3 really powerful suggestions. 3 really powerful suggestions to help you really define your service offering so that your ideal clients are going to be interested and engaged with what you're putting in front of them. So the first one, problem solution fit. Make sure that you have a great problem solution fit. So if you want a client, the best thing that you can do is identify someone who has a problem or a challenge that they're facing and identify the solution that will actually match up with that problem, and to provide the solution to them in the form of your service offering. And if you don't have somebody who has that problem, and if you don't have a solution like either one of those ingredients, then you're not going to make a sale regardless of how many testimonials or case studies or whatever that you have. But if you have a really great problem, solution fit, like a great problem, no. If you have a great solution to the problem that they have, and you can show them that you have the fit, they're going to be predisposed, even if you don't necessarily have a ton of case studies, if the solution makes sense, because they want to have that problem solved. They want that challenge to be overcome. And so number 1, make sure that you are dealing with someone who you can actually solve a pressing problem that they have, a problem that they actually want to pay to have solved. Number 2, to have a clearly defined and familiar process, especially when you are new, is very powerful. What do I mean? So a clearly defined process, and an example of that might be when I got started as a copywriter, I was writing a sales letter plus order form plus emails to drive traffic to it. That's largely what I was doing. That's largely what I was putting out there. And there was a few other things, but the thing was that was a clearly defined process for the clients that I was working with. And even better than that, it was a very familiar process. So they're used to hiring people like me for those particular types of projects. So it was very easy for them to say yes. The more clearly you can define your process for solving the problem, like going back to recommendation 1, right? The more you can clearly define your process for solving the problem, the more believable it will be out of the gate. And if that's familiar, if it aligns with something that they're already doing, especially when you're brand new and have not distinguished and differentiated yourself as somebody who provides some different kind of solution that is superior, that is a very powerful way to step into the arena to play. So that's 1 is problem solution fit, 2 is defined and familiar process, and number 3 is Derisk the Transaction. I've talked about this recently, but the whole idea is that whenever somebody's hiring you for a service, there is an inherent level of risk, right? There's an inherent level of risk on all sorts of levels. You're not going to follow through. Your solution isn't going to work, whatever. There's all sorts of ways where it can go wrong, including on their side too, but you're the one who's trying to sell your service to them. And so you are inherently asking them to take on some level of risk. Well, the more risk that you can actually take off of the transaction, the better, in terms of getting them to be interested in moving forward with you, being interested in engaging you for whatever your service offering is. And so, for example, if there's any way that you can do a portion of the work or get them a portion of the result before they actually agree to the full project, that's great. If you can somehow convey your expertise, such as through a free consultation where you are actually giving them useful, valuable advice prior to the full engagement. That's a great way to de-risk the transaction. In any kind of way that you're taking on some of the risk or all of the risk of them figuring out if you can actually do what you promise, the easier it's going to be to get them to say yes. Now, I also recognize that in a lot of cases, like there are people who take advantage of service providers. And so the higher profile the client is, the easier it is to do some of this, but also the less likely they are to actually need it, because they're more comfortable with accepting the risk. But again, like anything that you can do upfront to prove, such as one thing that I did as a copywriter is I would actually write the first 500,000 words of a sales letter for a client that I was really trying to land. And I would send it to them and I'd say, hey, I think this could work really well for this offer that you have out there. If you're interested, I could do this for you. Should we talk? And it worked like gangbusters. Other times I was just able to say, hey, we should do something together. Let's talk. And that worked as well. So what is going to work from client to client to client is going to vary. But if you are facing some resistance and you know that you have the problem solution fit and you know that you have the defined and familiar process, then maybe they see you as too high of a risk. And one way that you can reduce risk is with case studies and testimonials, but there are lots of other ways that you can reduce risk, including, for example, providing some of your expertise up front. Not enough maybe that they could just completely go and skip you, but enough that they can know, yeah, this is probably a good investment if I invest in this person's services. So if you're interested in going deeper into this, check out the links in the description. The first link will be to the free Launch Your Client Business mini course. It's a 3-day course covering what you need to do to launch your client business. There will also be a link to the Client Getting Blueprint, which goes much deeper and is kind of the punchline of the Launch Your Client Business mini course. And also there's a link to my Copywriter's Roadmap to Building a Core Offer. And those last two are complete trainings that you get with BTMS Insiders membership. My name is Roy Furr. This has been a video issue of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. I hope that you found it valuable. I'd love it if you'd leave a comment below. Let me know on a scale of 1 to 10 how valuable you found it and why. Like, what's your biggest takeaway? What's your action item? What are you going to do differently? Also, click that like button before you go so you get more content like this delivered to you. And so the magical algorithms of the internet know to share it with more people like you who will find it valuable. You can certainly share it with folks if there's somebody in your life who you know would get value from it, and subscribe. Subscribe here. Also, you can go to breakthroughmarketingsecrets.com, sign up to get my daily emails Monday through Friday, plus exclusive free content for subscribers. Again, this is Roy. I'm Roy Furr with Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. This has been a daily issue. I always aim for that 10 out of 10 value. I hope that I have delivered it here with these 3 tips. Again, make sure your problem and solution are a fit for the client. Make sure you have a defined and familiar process that is represented in your service offering, and make sure that you de-risk the transaction so that they are not taking on undue risk in choosing to move forward with you. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again in your next video. I'll see you soon. Bye.